In 2020, Zoom was dealing with the rapid business shift after the pandemic. It became the standard for all communication. But under the surface, things were crazy. It was managing over 1,000 different SKUs. Customers faced 14 different add-ons just on the website. Online conversions were not doing well. The company that had built its reputation on simplicity had become impossibly complex. By 2024, they had transformed this chaos into a streamlined offering that drove 27% growth in six-figure customers. How did they do it? Hi, I'm Ajit, author of Price to Scale. Today, I want to share another remarkable pricing transformation story from my book on how Zoom video communications tackled complexity paradox that threatens every fast-growing SaaS company. This is the story of how my co-author Jan Pasternak led one of the most ambitious pricing simplification projects in recent SaaS history. If you're building or scaling a SaaS company, this case study might be the most important 10 minutes you invest today. Because what happened at Zoom between 2020 and 2024 is happening right now at hundreds of SaaS companies around the world. The question is, will you recognize it before it's too late? Let me set the stage. By 2020, Zoom had become a household name. Founded in 2011 by Eric Yuan, the company had built its reputation on simplicity and reliability. Their video conferencing solution just worked. No complex setup, no technical headaches, just click and connect. Then the pandemic hit. Zoom's growth exploded. Daily meeting participants surged from 10 million to over 300 million in just months. The company was winning, but beneath this success, a dangerous complexity was building. Here's what was happening. Between 2014 and 2020, Zoom's product portfolio had expanded a lot. They had added Zoom Phone, Zoom Room, Zoom Webinars, and countless other features. And how did they add most of these features? Through add-on packages. On the surface, this made sense. Speed to market was critical. Competitors were launching new features daily. Adding functionality through add-ons was quick. But this approach created a monster that threatened to devour the very simplicity that made Zoom successful. And why was it a monster? Because it's confusing for customers to buy through all of this chaos. By 2020, this had reached a breaking point. The website displayed over 14 different add-ons. Enterprise sales channels offer many more. Behind the scenes, the company was dealing with 1,000 different SKUs. Think about it for a minute. 1,000 different customer combinations, 1,000 different price points to manage, 1,000 different items for customers to navigate. This is where Jan Pasternak enters the story. As the pricing strategy leader and guru, he was brought in to tackle this challenge. Jan recognized something crucial. Zoom's complexity wasn't just an operational problem. It was destroying the customer experience that made Zoom successful in the first place. Jan identified three critical issues that needed attention. First, product overload. Customers couldn't figure out what they needed. Imagine walking into a restaurant and being handed a menu with 1,000 items. That's what buying Zoom had become. The paradox of choice was paralyzing customers and online conversions were suffering. Second, pricing confusion. With so many add-ons and combinations, customers couldn't calculate their total cost. They couldn't compare plans. They couldn't make confident buying decisions. The very simplicity that had attracted customers to Zoom had vanished. Third, operational chaos. Managing 1,000 SKUs wasn't just complex, it was expensive. Every new feature added more complexity. Every complexity added more cost. The company was drowning in its own success. Now here's where the story gets really interesting. Jan didn't just see these as Zoom problems. He recognized them as a symptom of broader SaaS epidemic. Across the industry, successful SaaS companies were falling into the same trap. They'd start simple, grow fast, add features to stay competitive, and wake up one day with a product line so complex that even their own sales teams couldn't explain it. This is the SaaS complexity paradox. The very growth that signals success plants the seed of future failure. So how do you solve a problem this big? Jan and his team developed a three-pronged approach that would become a masterclass in strategic simplification. The first step was building a dedicated pricing operations team. This wasn't just another committee. This was a strike force with a clear mission: eliminate complexity without sacrificing revenue. But here's the brilliant part. They didn't just start cutting SKUs randomly. Jan knew that would be a disaster. Instead, they turned to data. The team launched a series of conjoint studies, sophisticated market research that reveals what customers actually value versus what they say they value. This is crucial because in SaaS, there's often a huge gap between what customers request and what they'll actually pay for. The conjoint studies revealed something fascinating. Many of Zoom's add-ons were purchased together in predictable patterns. Customers buying Zoom Phone also bought certain collaboration features. Webinar customers consistently added specific security features. These patterns pointed to an opportunity. Instead of offering dozens of individual add-ons, why not bundle the features that customers naturally bought together? But Jan knew that data alone wouldn't be enough. Changing pricing impacts every department in a company. Sales need new comp plans. Marketing needs new messaging. Engineering needs to build purchase flows. Legal needs new contracts. Customer success needs new playbooks. This is where Jan's second innovation comes in, the Tiger team. Every week, representatives from every affected department met in what they called a pricing forum. This wasn't just an update meeting. This was a war room where decisions were made, conflicts resolved, and momentum was maintained. The Tiger team approach solved one of the biggest challenges in pricing transformations: organizational resistance. By including everyone from the start, Jan turned potential opponents into advocates. The third element of Jan's strategy was perhaps the most important: iterative testing. Even with great data and organizational alignment, Jan knew that massive changes created massive risks. So instead of a big bang transformation, the team tested changes incrementally. They ran A/B tests on the website. They piloted new bundles with specific customer segments. They measured not just conversion rates, but customer satisfaction, support tickets, and sales cycle length. This iterative approach allowed them to validate their conjoint findings in the real world. It also revealed insights that no amount of research could have predicted, like how changing the navigation structure improved conversions, more than changing the actual pricing. The culmination of all this work was the Zoom One bundle, a masterstroke of simplification that would transform the company's trajectory. Instead of presenting customers with a confusing array of Zoom products and add-ons, Zoom One offered a simple choice: get everything you need in one package: video, phone, rooms, webinars, and collaboration tools. All integrated, all included, all simple. The results speak for themselves. The product lineup was streamlined from a 5-item video suite with 14 add-ons to a clean, focused offering that shifted monetization beyond just video conferencing. But the real magic was in the numbers. In fiscal year 2024, Zoom reported total revenue of $1.146 billion with year-over-year growth of 2.6%. More importantly, the Zoom One bundle drove a 115% net dollar expansion rate amongst large enterprise customers. Customer growth accelerated too. Companies spending more than $100,000 annually grew by 27% year over year, with the Zoom One bundle being the primary driver. Think about what Jan and his team accomplished. They took a product line drowning in complexity and transformed it into a growth engine. They increased revenue while reducing SKUs. They improved customer satisfaction while simplifying operations. But perhaps the most important result was invisible. They prevented Zoom from becoming yet another casualty of the SaaS complexity paradox. So what can we learn from Jan's work at Zoom? First, complexity is the silent killer when SaaS companies become successful. It creeps in slowly. You're successful, you're winning, you're getting more revenue. And before you know it, you have a lot of pricing debt, the cousin of technical debt. Second, simplification requires courage. It's easy to keep adding stuff, but when you have to subtract, everybody's going to be up in arms. And you have to do it intelligently in a way that builds your business and does not break it. Third, data is your compass, but testing is your map. Conjoint studies showed what customers value, but only real-world testing revealed how to capture that value. Fourth, pricing transformations are company transformations. Jan's Tiger team approach recognizes that changing pricing means changing everything. Plan accordingly. Fifth, Bundles can be powerful simplification tools, but only in certain cases. They work when they align with natural customer behavior. Do not force fit features into bundles, but look for where natural bundling is happening on its own. Finally, timing matters. Zoom tackled their complexity before it became crippling. Many companies wait too long until the weight of complexity has already started driving customers away. As I reflect on Jan's work on Zoom, I am reminded of a fundamental truth about pricing. Your pricing model is a reflection of your company's strategic clarity. Complex pricing usually signals confused strategy. Simple pricing usually signals clear strategy. And as Zoom proved, the journey from complex to simple can unlock tremendous value. The question for you is this: how complex has your pricing become? How many add-ons do you offer? How many SKUs do you manage? How long does it take a new salesperson to understand your pricing? If you're feeling uncomfortable with the answers, you're not alone. The SaaS complexity paradox affects successful companies. But the difference between the great and the also ran is where the extra delta in revenue and customer success is between the companies who recognize this issue and the ones who don't. Jan Pasternak work at Zoom shows us that simplification is possible and profitable. Thank you for joining me on this case study from price to scale. Jan's leadership in transforming Zoom pricing complexity into strategic clarity is something everyone needs to understand. Jan is also the co-author of this book. I urge you to go and find him on LinkedIn or contact me. I'll put you in touch with him. And I'm so happy to have shared this story with you today.